I want to share a Hanukkah story with you. It was put together by Rabbi Leah Berkowitz from the Philadelphia area, a friend of mine, and I saw it. It was great, so I said, I'm just going to steal it. The story of Hanukkah is a story of standing up for what you believe in. And so tonight, I'm going to tell you the story of how, in 3 different places, at 3 different times, people stood up for what they believed in when everyone else around them was doing something that they knew was wrong. But I'm going to need your help as I tell this story. At different points in the story, I'm going to need you to play the part of the townspeople. And when I tell you to, you need to shout, "No, no, no, not in our town." Ready? No, 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 not in our town. Very good. All right, good. The first story is one that we know, the story of the first Hanukkah. A long time ago, in a town called Modi'in, there was a new leader in charge named Antiochus. Antiochus decided that everyone had to be the same religion and bow before the same gods. And one of those gods was him. So he put up statues of himself all over Modi'in, and indeed all over Judea, even in the holy temple of the Israelites. He forced the Jewish people to say things they didn't want to say, to eat things they didn't want to eat, and to do things they didn't want to do, including bowing down before the statues of Antiochus. But then one brave old man named Mattathias said, "No, no, no, not in our town. People should be able to worship however they want to, and no one should try to take over another person's temple and tell them how to worship." So Mattathias and his 5 sons went to war against Antiochus and his army. One of his sons was Judah Maccabee, Judah the Hammer. They fought a long battle to get their temple back and worshiped the way they wanted to, and when they did, they rededicated the temple, kindled those miraculous lights, and celebrated a festival that we now call Hanukkah. But sadly, in later generations, people came to power who thought that they had the right to tell people what to do and what to believe. Over 60 years ago, a town called Copenhagen, Denmark, was taken over by the Nazis. The Nazis hated the Jews. But the people of Copenhagen who weren't Jewish didn't hate the Jews at all. When they learned that the Nazis were going to come to round up all of the Jewish people, they said, "No, no, no, not in our town." They found places for their Jewish neighbors to hide, in their own houses, even though this was a great risk to them. They hid them until they were able to smuggle them to Sweden, which was neutral, in the bottom of fishermen's boats, just a dozen or so at a time. They rescued nearly all of the 8,000 Jews who lived in Denmark. And even when they learned that some Jews had been taken away, Danish officials continued to ask after their welfare, ensuring that nearly all of them survived the war. So these things happen in places very different from ours. But that brings us to our final Hanukkah story. It took place just about 25 years ago in a town called Billings, Montana. A little boy named Isaac had made a beautiful construction paper Hanukkah menorah, and hung it in his bedroom window. But no sooner had the night fallen than some of the people who did not like Jews came through the neighborhood. When they saw the paper Hanukkah, they became angry and threw a rock through Isaac's window. Isaac wasn't hurt, but he was very sad. His parents called the police, who told them to take down their Hanukkah decorations, just to be safe. But they said, "No, no, no, not in our town. No one should make our children afraid to be proud of who they are." They called the newspaper and let their neighbors know what had happened. The next day, one of Isaac's neighbors, a little boy who wasn't Jewish, brought over a new Hanukkah decoration he had made himself. And one by one, the neighbors started putting up Hanukkah decorations in their own windows, whether they were Jewish or not. Even the Methodist Church put up a Hanukkah. Sadly, it wasn't the end of broken windows, but the people of Billings would not be discouraged. Soon, there were 10,000 Hanukkahs put up in Billings, Montana, hung by Jews, Christians, and Native Americans. It was their way of saying, "No, no, no, not in our town." Whenever you hurt one family here, you hurt all of us, and we won't let you make us afraid to be ourselves. You see, the story of Hanukkah isn't something that happened just once. It's a story that happens again and again, when in every generation we've needed to stand up for something we believe in and stand in solidarity with our neighbors. And so the next time you see someone making other people do things that they don't want to do, or treating people differently because of what they look like, who they love, or what they believe, what will be your answer? No, 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 not in our town. All right, page 365, Rock of Ages.